At some point, almost everyone has had the same experience. You're walking through a shopping mall, you've been there for a while, and suddenly you need to find a bathroom. You look around. There are stores everywhere, food courts, escalators, signage for sales and cinemas, but no bathroom. You walk further, you check a directory, you follow a sign that seems promising, only to end up in a long corridor, around a corner, and down a hallway that feels like it was never meant to be seen. It's a small frustration, but it's also a surprisingly common one, and it raises an interesting question. Why are bathrooms in shopping malls so hard to find? The short answer is that it isn't accidental. The longer answer reveals a lot about how malls are designed and what they're designed to prioritize. To understand it, we need to look at how malls think about movement. Shopping malls are built to guide people along specific paths. Wide corridors draw crowds through retail zones. Anchor stores pull visitors from one end to the other. Escalators and elevators shape how people move vertically through the space. Bathrooms don't fit neatly into this system. They aren't destinations, they don't generate revenue, and they don't encourage browsing. From a design perspective, bathrooms are necessary, but they're not something mall operators want to place in the most valuable locations. The most valuable areas in a mall are the ones with the highest foot traffic. These are the spaces closest to entrances, anchor stores, food courts, and major intersections. Every square meter in those areas is carefully allocated. Ideally, it's filled with something that earns rent, draws attention, or keeps people moving past shop fronts. Bathrooms do none of those things. Once someone reaches a restroom, they stop shopping. They step out of the retail flow, and when they leave, they usually return to the nearest exit or seating area, not the shops they just passed. That makes bathrooms what designers call a dead space. So instead of being placed front and center, restrooms are typically pushed toward the edges of the mall's circulation system. They're often tucked behind anchor stores, placed near service corridors, or located at the ends of long hallways where retail demand is lower. But location is only part of the story. Bathrooms also come with serious logistical constraints. They require extensive plumbing, large water supplies, drainage, ventilation, and regular maintenance access. Unlike a clothing store or a cafe, you can't easily move a bathroom once it's built. Pipes run vertically through the building. Drainage needs specific slopes. Ventilation shafts must connect directly to the exterior or rooftop systems. Because of this, bathrooms are usually stacked in the same vertical location on every floor. If you find a restroom on level 2, there's probably another one directly above it on level 3 and another below it on level 1. This limits where bathrooms can go. Designers aren't just choosing the best place for people, they're choosing the place where pipes, ducts, and maintenance routes make sense for the entire building. That often means pushing bathrooms into corners behind stairwells or adjacent to loading areas, places that are functional but not visually prominent. There's also the issue of crowd control. Bathrooms attract clusters of people who stop, wait, and queue. In high-traffic areas, that can create bottlenecks. If a restroom entrance is placed along a main corridor, people lining up can block foot traffic, slow movement, and disrupt sightlines to nearby stores. From a mall's perspective, that's a problem. Retail environments are designed to keep people moving smoothly. Pauses are meant to happen inside stores, not in hallways, so bathrooms are often placed just far enough away from main routes to keep congestion out of sight. That's why you'll frequently find them near cinemas, food courts, or family areas, but slightly offset from the main flow. Close enough to be accessible, far enough to stay out of the way. Signage plays a role too. You might expect malls to make bathrooms extremely obvious. After all, everyone needs them. But signage is surprisingly restrained. Part of this is visual hierarchy. Malls are filled with signs competing for attention, store logos, promotions, directions to parking, exits, and elevators. If bathroom signage were as prominent as retail signage, it would compete with the commercial messaging the mall depends on. Instead, Restrooms are usually marked with small, standardized symbols, clear once you're looking for them, easy to miss if you're not. There's also a subtle psychological element at play. Malls are designed to keep people in a browsing mindset. Bathrooms remind people of time passing, of bodily needs, of reasons to leave. By keeping restrooms out of immediate view, malls reduce the number of visual cues that break the shopping experience. It's not about denying access. It's about keeping the focus on consumption for as long as possible. This becomes especially clear when you look at older malls versus newer ones. Older shopping centers often have fewer bathrooms, placed in very specific locations. Newer malls tend to have more restrooms overall, but they're still carefully positioned. Family restrooms, accessible facilities, and parent rooms are often grouped together and placed near elevators or quieter zones. These areas are designed to absorb longer stops without interfering with retail flow. Even the corridors leading to bathrooms are telling. They're often narrower, more utilitarian, less decorated, and this signals, subconsciously, that you're leaving the main experience and entering a support space. Once you're done, you're gently guided back out towards shops, food, or entertainment. None of this is about making people uncomfortable. Bathrooms have to exist. They have to be clean, safe, and accessible. But in a shopping mall, every design decision is a compromise. Comfort competes with efficiency. Visibility competes with value. Convenience competes with flow. Bathrooms lose most of those battles, so they end up where they cause the least disruption, cost the least to maintain, and interfere the least with commercial activity, which usually means they're harder to find than you'd expect. The next time you're in a mall and you notice yourself searching for a restroom, pay attention to where it finally appears. Look at what's nearby. You'll start to see the pattern. It's not poor planning, it's careful planning, working quietly in the background. Once you understand the system, it makes sense.